The 1960s. Peace, love, tie-dye, and apparently one long government-sponsored hallucination.
Hey Dad.
Yeah.
You forgot these.
Oh, yeah. Groovy, man. And yeah, I was just breaking out my old record collection. We're spinning a few. But while you were busy thinking groovy, Uncle Sam was somewhere in a bunker playing 4D chess with your brain chemistry. That's right. Today we're climbing the ladder of the top 10 reasons the 60s might have been one giant government operation. Spoiler alert, it wasn't just bell-bottoms and Woodstock. It was America's most colorful social experiment. Number 10. The entire decade was a giant psychological operation. The 60s weren't just a cultural revolution. They were basically a nationwide lab test in emotional manipulation. The assassinations, the drugs, the radical politics, all perfectly timed to shake the social Etch-a-Sketch. You had the government watching society like, what happens if we had LSD and televised war coverage at the same time? They called it the Summer of Love, but it was starting to look more like the beginnings of government data collection. Number 9. Social engineering to divide society. Race riots, generation gaps, left versus right. The decade was an argument in surround sound. Sure, some of it was organic, but let's not ignore how many invisible hands were stirring that pot. Divide and conquer has always been the oldest trick in the playbook. Did you know if you put 2 types of ants in a jar, they will just mind their own business, going about the day. But if you shake the jar, it's war.
So if I'm mad at someone, I shouldn't try to figure out why. I should try and figure out who's shaking the jar.
Exactly. Who wants you mad?
And what are they distracting me from?
Now you're on to the scam. Number 8. Media manipulation. The news in the 60s was as honest as a used car salesman wearing a flag pin and holding a Trust Me flag. The government didn't just report on events like Vietnam or civil rights. They edited the story. They knew perception was power, and they wielded it like a sledgehammer wrapped in an American flag.
Yeah, I saw an old newspaper that read "Victory in Vietnam imminent."
Yeah, Tanner. And the Cleveland Browns are going to the Super Bowl this year. Number 7. The counterculture was manufactured. Ah yes, the hippies. The peace-loving rebels who accidentally became the perfect distraction. While they thought they were protesting the system was just patting them on the head and handing them another joint. They were given problems and drugs. What could go wrong? The revolution was televised and sponsored by the CIA.
So Woodstock was basically a field test.
Yes, more like a government focus group with LSD, peace signs, and guitars. Number 6. Mind control testing on unwitting citizens. Hospitals, universities, even prisons, the government turned them into human petri dishes. The idea was to see how far they could go with drugs, hypnosis, and electrical shocks before someone asked, is this ethical? This was done without the person even knowing they were being experimented on. Guinea pig much? Imagine checking into a hospital for stress and checking out thinking you're a descendant of Napoleon, or that people with red hair need to learn a thing or two. And the government observer just writes it down as progress. Number 5, Operation Chaos. The CIA's domestic spying program, because apparently Land of the Free needed an asterisk. They infiltrated student protests, anti-war movements, and civil rights groups to monitor threats. Translation, if you owned a guitar and had a conscience, they had a foul on you.
So everyone in your book club might have been an informant. Even Karen. Especially Karen.
Yeah, I never trusted her.
Didn't her dad work for NSA?
That's what I heard. And don't forget the drugs they introduced to these groups to make things more interesting. Number 4, COINTELPRO. The FBI's answer to, what if we made paranoia a government policy? They bugged Martin Luther King Jr., sabotaged activists, and tried to dismantle movements before they could gain traction. It wasn't just about communism. It was about controlling anyone who got too loud. The Federal Bureau of Investigation should have been renamed the Federal Bureau of Infiltration. Does that sound like they were doing things that were good for the country? Or were some elements within the government on another agenda? Number 3, Operation Northwoods. This one sounds like a conspiracy theory until you realize it's been declassified. The Pentagon literally proposed staging fake terrorist attacks or even blowing up US planes to justify invading Cuba. The only reason it didn't happen? Kennedy actually said, "Are you insane?" Imagine your boss pitching that at a staff meeting. So we blow up a plane, blame the Cubans, and wait, why are you all looking at me like that?
Is that the only time that's ever happened?
No, Tan, I doubt that. That's just one in a list that who knows how long it stretches. Number 2, Operation Midnight Climax. Yes, that's the real name. The CIA rented out apartments, hired prostitutes to lure men in, secretly dosed them with LSD, and then watched them have sex from behind one-way mirrors while taking notes about their behavior. Supposedly done to see how sexual blackmail might work in espionage.
Dad, wait a second. This isn't real, right?
Tanner, I wish I was making it up, but the CIA basically invented Big Brother before cameras were even digital.
Imagine being the intern who had to log that data. Subject 7 thinks he's having sex with a pink elephant.
Yeah, that's good. Number 1, MK Ultra, the godfather of mind control experiments. The granddaddy of them all. A program that ran from the 50s to the 60s, officially ending. It involved LSD, hypnosis, electric shocks, sensory deprivation. It's like someone mixed science with evil and said, perfect, let's fund it. Thousands of people were subjected to tests without consent, and most of what we know was only uncovered after the CIA shredded the files. Consisting of over 140 subprograms, this represents government at its worst. Famous people rumored to have been involved are Charles Manson, Ted Kaczynski, and Sirhan Sirhan. Well, there you have it. And next time you watch a documentary about the 60s and think, wow, what a free, authentic decade, remember, half the decade's biggest movements might have been stitched together in a CIA sewing circle. Peace, love, and plausible deniability, baby. If you thought this was interesting, please like, share, and subscribe, because we could use all the help we can get. And as always, keep climbing. And in the morning, I'm making waffles.